Welcome back to the Scorching Hot Takes podcast. Today we're back with a worst to best discography ranking, and today we're going through Tame Impala's discography. Very excited for this one personally, but I think we'll have some different views.
I think that's probably likely. Should we just get straight into it?
Yeah, one thing I want to let you know though, before this, I have a big surprise for you at the end of this video. Just for you. So you'll have
like
to wait.
a Prezi?
It's not a physical gift, but I think you'll be happy to hear it in some form.
So it's some news?
News. It's some news.
It's just not a present then?
Well, it could be good news, which could be seen as a present. Shut up. What are you going for? Number 4.
I think this is probably where we're going to have the most polarising opinions on the album, I'd assume. The Slow Rush.
Yeah, I knew you'd be going there.
I've given it a 7.4 though, so I will say last one.
No, that's low.
I still think it's a very good album. It's just not a great album.
Why?
It's very good. I appreciate that production on this is absolutely incredible. Undeniably, in my opinion, Kevin's most catchy poppy album with the most catchy poppy moments. There's some incredible hooks. One of the main takeaways for me in terms of why I see it not as good as the other ones is, as we know with most things, I'm much more of a guitar guy than a synth guy. And for me, I just miss some of the guitar on this. I wish that with this level of production, some of the guitar turns that there could have been would have been absolutely incredible. There is still some moments which are very good, but I wish it was just more guitar-based instead of 90% synth.
This guy just loves guitars.
Yeah. Songs like Breathe Deeper for me just feel like, even though it's Kevin's own sound, it feels like not the most unique thing ever. But I will say, highlight-wise, It Might Be Time is definitely up there for me. That was one of the moments. That was good say. That was one of the moments where I thought this is a good album. Songs like Borderline, as much as they're maybe not like very guitarist, they're very poppy. They are so catchy and undeniably infectious that you can't help but like it. So yeah, it's nowhere near as good as other Kevin albums, but I still think it's a perfectly good album.
Nowhere near? Really? That much difference?
Well, we're going to find out. There is quite a gap. But I still appreciate it's a well-made album. It's well put together. It just doesn't particularly click with me that much for the most part, unfortunately. But I'm sure you're not happy with that. I think I know what your order's going to be before we've even started, by the way.
I don't think you do.
Okay.
We'll have to
find
see.
out. What's your number 4?
My number 4, you're not going to be happy, Innerspeaker. And it's coming in...
Oh, like you try and defend. I mean, I'm sure that's probably not that hot of a take for most people, but...
It depends which side of the fan base you fall on. Right. It's got a very low rating of 9.7.
Okay.
So you can't be too pissed.
Have you even got enough... Are any of them on par with each other, or...
No.
Wait, hold on, sir.
But you kind of know all my ratings now, you can work it out.
Wait, so you've got a 9.7, a 9.8, a 9.9 and a 10 in this list?
Potentially.
But
or maybe there could be multiple perfects.
But you said that you have none of the overlaps.
Oh, I've given
so you actually have to?
Yeah, that is correct.
Jeez. Okay.
Jeez.
Pass the cheese.
Moving swiftly on. Innerspeaker 9.7. For me, that sounded like I just gave the name Innerspeaker 9.7. That'd be a tough name. I like it. For me, I listened to this one probably the most. So much replay value, and obviously as a 9.7, it's still one of my favourite albums of all time. So there's no disrespect to it. I think when I was looking at his discography, this is the album that is the least sort of Tame Impala. It's a contemporary version of 60s psychedelia, but I think it does have an edge on some stuff like from the 60s because of the modern production, and I love Kevin's production style. I also think that as a drummer, he's a lot more entertaining than some of the 60s drummers, for my taste as well. Some of the fills, like on Why Won't You Make Up Your Mind, is one of my favourite drum fills of all time. It is
so fast,
and it's so long and drawn out as well. It's like 2 bars long, and he's going absolutely all over the kit. I love it. Drums as well, like on Jeremy Storm, that absolutely thump him. And the distorted guitars across this thing. For example, like on Desire Be, Desire Go, Lucidity. There is some superb moments in all elements of the instrumentation on this album. I just think in terms of his production style as well, as much as it is still phenomenal on this album, I think it improves on albums following like Lonerism, which has a similar psychedelic sound, a lot more synth based, but it is still in a similar realm. I think the production on that album was more like higher quality of curation on that album. So for me, Innerspeaker, if I view it like objectively, I don't think is as high quality for me.
It's still a 9.7 though, so it's not half bad.
Yeah, so you can't.
It's
be
97.
Too
It's
pissed at me.
3% bad.
Yeah, you can't be too pissed at me in terms of rankings today. What are you looking
I was
at?
just doing maths. I couldn't remember it.
Wait, what were you trying to work out?
If 9 point, no, it makes me look dumb. I was just trying to figure out if the opposite of 9.7 is 3%, like the bit that's been left, but it is, yeah.
I have no idea what you're even trying to do right now.
I've not done maths in a few years.
I have no idea what you're even trying to get at, but let's move on.
Conversions from decimals to percentages.
Sick.
Been a while.
Sick.
Yeah.
For you, number 3.
My number 3, and this is where we have a big jump up. I think this is an amazing album. Lonerism, 9 out of 10.
Third. Oh, okay. Not gonna say too
9
much.
out of 10 though. That's a very high rating for me.
Okay. Okay. I'm happy with the rating, but I don't know if
My main reason that I will say that this album is way above the Slow Rush for me is much more experimentation, and I think that the balance between the poppy accessible elements and Kevin out there genius is met very well on this album. When I talk about the other two albums, I'll talk about why they're on top of this one. But be above it from first listen. Interesting intro. Wasn't really sure at first, but then when it gets going, very nice and powerful. Another highlight on Endors Toi, or whatever it's called, that jangly ambient guitar as it comes in, that is really something. Only kind of weaknesses is songs like Apocalypse Dream.
Wait, weakness?
Yeah.
Have you got the right track?
It's still... No, but
Are we listening to the same album?
you have to remember, though, it's not necessarily a weakness because it's still good. It's still great. It's just not up to par as the rest because the highs, a.k.a. feels like we only go backwards, probably, for me, one of Kevin... Oh, yeah, we're just going to call him Kevin, by the way.
Yeah, it is Kevin.
One of his songs for me that is the most deeply rooted in my soul. That and also Elephant for the complete opposite reasons. It's not in like a emotional resonates with me where it's just fire.
Yeah,
it's just thumping with that bass line and the synth section that sounds like a wizard.
However, I have to bring you back. So Apocalypse Dreams is a weakness on the album.
For the same reason as stuff on the Slow Rush, I just wish there was more guitar. Because it's sometimes...
Nah, there is guitar though. I mean, yeah, it's more maybe synth driven, but there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
I thought you'd like the song structure and stuff of it as well though.
But you have to remember, I'm not saying it's a bad song at all. I still think it's a good song. It's just not up to par with the rest of them. I think this is another example of where we have polarizing, like opposite opinions. Yeah, maybe so. Songs like Nothing That Has Happened So Far and blah, 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 blah. Don't want to say it all. Something like that. It's a really immersive album with songs like that, I think. And yeah, like what I said before, just the balance between having poppy, catchy hooks on stuff like Feels Like We're Gonna Go Backwards. That is such a catchy melody. But then instrumentally, it's the opposite of the Slow Rush, in that the Slow Rush is experimental and it's still got a lot going on, but it does it in a way that's still very accessible. This album feels like some of the songs are more written to be melodically very accessible, but the instrumentals are far beyond anything on the Slow Rush.
I think I know what you mean. Like, I think Lonerism can grow on you more, whereas immediately the Slow Rush can kind of hit.
Yeah, it just gives you what you need. Whereas Lonerism you can dive much more deeper into in terms of everything that's in your ears. It makes you feel like you've got 10 ears. But yeah, 9 out of 10, amazing album. But yeah, from this point though, all amazing.
Wait, yeah, you're actually going to have some high rankings, I hope.
It might be a 10.
I don't think
Is it possible?
I don't think there's going to be a 10 in here.
We'll find out. Okay, anyway.
I'd love
your
for
number
there
3.
to be. So yeah, 9.8. We're going up by 0.1. Because I will say as well, these albums it was so hard for me to rank it because like some of these albums are really interchangeable.
Yeah.
Like it depends where I'm listening to it, what part of my life I'm in, because I've listened to a lot of these for a few years now, and I love all 4 of them so much. For me, the number 3, after some long hard thought, is going to be the Slow Rush.
Oh, wait.
What, is that a shocker?
Yeah. You know, I said that I thought I knew your order.
Yeah.
I thought Slow Rush was your favourite for some reason.
Wait, you thought it was going to be number 1?
Yeah.
Oh, damn, no,
I'm obviously wrong.
You're quite a bit off.
Well, I'll take everything out of my mind, all my preconceptions.
Yep. So for me, I disagree completely with what you were saying about how maybe it's sort of experimentation or the accessibility of it maybe means you can't get as much out of it. I know that wasn't your words exactly, but sort of springing off that idea. I think this album, its accessibility, while operating in a more sort of commercially pleasing field, is what makes it so fun to listen to. It's a fun album. I've said this in a short form video. It's my favourite summer album because songs like Instant Destiny, when you're just in your car and he's like, this traffic doesn't seem so quite as annoying. I'm quite all right. Yeah, I am in my beautiful red Corsa with the windows down, listening to that. But like the whole thing is it's just good vibes. Songs like Breathe Deeper, I love. The bass line on that is so catchy. The drums on this, yes, maybe not so much that psychedelic rock, like thrashing drum kits. You've got a lot more sort of commercial drum sounds and stuff, but the drumming is not to be overlooked. It is absolutely incredible. And the fact that Kevin spent a lot of time on the drums on this album is definitely apparent, shouldn't be overlooked. I like the disco sort of fusion on songs like Borderline. And that as well, Borderline as an individual track goes a long way back in our friendship as well.
Does.
That Year 10 summer that we always bring up in videos.
Year 8.
This was a staple.
We've brought up Year 8 and Year 9 as well, because Year 8 was
Skepta.
What? Completely forgot what the album's called.
Which one are we on about?
Year 8 Summer.
I don't know what you're referencing. Wait, which?
Ignorance is Bliss.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Year 8 Summer. Wait, was that Year 8 Summer?
Yeah.
Ah, fair. I can't remember. I do remember we had a conversation, but I couldn't remember which album we were on about. Yeah. When this is quite far from Skepta though.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Year 10 summer, we were listening to like Borderline a lot. And for me, there's some songs on here that would crack my top 10 Kevin list, which I think will be coming soon.
Yeah, definitely. We'll do that on Wednesday.
Yeah. I think songs on here like It Might Be Time, the drums.
Yeah, I'm glad we agree on that one.
The drums are insane. And one of the best crescendos on the album when that distorted guitar does come in, which you'll obviously back. And the hooks as well, you said it, are so catchy throughout this whole thing. And also an underrated intro. Like,
I wasn't so sure about it.
I know you don't like it. I like the glitchy, like, pitch down, more, yeah. I love it. I feel like it really sort of...
It's definitely an interesting one. It's just not the most replay value.
Yeah, but I kind of like his sort of almost slightly spoken word, off-tempo delivery on it as well. Like,
yeah, I know what
he seems like he's almost talking to you a bit. I like it.
It definitely gets good as it gets going, because it definitely gets a bit of power to it. But I mean, obviously, it's a bit more of a kind of... It's made to be an intro. You're not going to listen to it on its own. I know that's not the purpose, but it was just not the easiest listen ever.
Yeah, that's pretty much all I have
to say. Gotta be above it.
Gotta be.
Karaoke.
Yeah, for me, I think it's his best produced album as well. I think his vocals are absolutely soaring across this whole thing, and they have a lot more room to breathe.
Yeah,
because it's a little bit more stripped back.
I think it's definitely the kind of most smoothest, clean cut in terms of production. Yeah, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's the best for me.
Yeah, I know. You love a bit of grit, don't you? Anyway, for you, move on to your number 2. We get through these quickly when there's only 4.
Where do you think? Which order do you? So obviously I've got Currents and Innerspeaker left. Which way do you think I'm going?
Currents has got to be coming next.
What do you think Currents is now?
I think Currents is coming next.
Yeah, that's not a hot take. It's next, yeah.
I thought I was wrong then.
No.
You threw me off.
So I've given it a 9.1, so it's only got a slight edge over Lonerism.
Okay, so what puts it above Lonerism?
There is one song on here in particular that is why it's above Lonerism.
But we're on about the album.
I know, but I'm saying it's...
Oh, so that's what ticks it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let It Happen is, ready for it? One of the best songs of our lifetime.
Valid. Valid.
Potentially top 10.
Yeah, to be fair, that'd be a tough
fact,
list to make.
I'm saying in the chest, Let It Happen is in the top 10 songs since 2005
/ 2006.
And I'll say that with chest. And it's a great overall like summary of the sounds of the album into one masterpiece. This is also potentially the most transportative album that I've listened to that has come out maybe also since I've been born.
But you think even Kevin's catalogue, I don't know if I've made that argument.
No, I think this is his album which has the most effect on my brain. Okay. In that, like, it's the most trance-like for me.
Yeah. It's definitely still very like sort of trance and it's still transportive.
It makes me feel a bit cyborgy.
Yeah.
Like, because it's so electronic.
Which is something I have to ask you. Obviously, the synths and stuff have let you down in other areas. This album is literally synth heaven. So why?
Because it's done so well. And I don't think it's overdone. Because it's as weird as it sounds, it's a very synth-based sound, but yet I don't feel like it's overdone. Whereas on other Kevin stuff, I just feel like I want something else, but there's so much going on in this album, I think. And I think the synths are done so well.
But like, I don't know that there's even a crescendo on this entire album, not that this is to the detriment of it, that's as like full and as emphatic as Apocalypse Dreams, which you say the synths are too overbearing in that. But like,
well, yeah, that's what I mean though. That's too much.
Yeah, but you say there's a lot going on, but the synths are done right in this way.
But on Apocalypse Dream, it's a lot going on synth-wise, whereas on this it's synth-based, but there's a lot of other things going on as well. On songs like Let It Happen, as an example,
it's a weak argument.
Strings. This is the only album that I think this is the. Yeah. I think that a bit of Let It Happen might even be the only Kevin moment that I can think of that has strings in.
Yeah, I think you're right. Should be done more.
Yeah,
what's it playing at?
It's one of my highlights of his entire career.
Yeah, facts.
I think it's also a pretty nostalgic album for me. I think it's the Kevin album that I listened to all the way through for the first time. I'd heard other songs first that weren't on Currents, but Currents was the one that it was the album cover because it was everywhere, so I thought I need to listen to this. It just comes second place for me due to personal preference of, obviously you know what's coming now, Innerspeaker is going to be at my number one when we get to it, because it's a guitar album.
Just... You stick to your roots. At least you're consistent.
No, that makes it sound bad. I've not put it there purely because it is guitar, because I do genuinely think it's just better. It clicks with me more. I think the music's better. I think the guitar stuff on that is so much better than all the electronic-y stuff on the other albums. There's some good guitar moments on all three of the other albums, but there's just not as much of it to spoil me.
As much as it's done well, can I move on to my number two now?
Yeah.
This is where I'm having Currents. 9.9.
Oh, we both say number two. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. For me...
No, I keep forgetting that you got them so high.
For me, I think Currents is like the point at which Tame Impala became Tame Impala. It was his sort of brand. It was his own identity. Currents as an album is so unique and standalone. And I think...
Wait.
What do you mean?
Sorry. That means Lonerism's number one for you?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Before I even try and comprehend that, how can your number one album by an artist be made before the album that you think is when he became Tame Impala?
Because I think that just what I was trying to say is Lonerism, which I will get onto in more detail.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter that you're taking more influences from different areas. Like I don't mean that in a detrimental way. Okay. I think the quality of the music and the whole album of Lonerism
it's because it's a conceptual.
Is better.
It's because it's a conceptual one, isn't it?
That plays into it, but that's not the only defining factor. I'll get onto Lonerism in a few minutes.
I'll let you cook. Sorry, I interrupt.
Currents 9.9. I've just given them all like the numbers as their titles.
Don't even need
now.
to say the numbers anymore.
Yeah, I don't know why.
I just want to remind myself that Lonerism is a 10. Okay, just carry on.
Yeah, so for me, Currents, I think, has the highest highs, but also the lowest lows in an album experience. I think it's his least consistent album.
Right.
I think there's too many transitional moments. Songs like Nangs, I like the...
Nangs is an absolute highlight for me.
No, but I feel like it could have been more.
No,
I feel there's too many transition moments. A song like Disciples as well, like it's fine while it's on, but could be longer, and it could be a more fully fleshed out idea.
Does the track list go Let It Happen and then Nangs?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, that's why I think Nangs is needed. You couldn't have another Let It Happen after Let It Happen.
That's fine. But then it's more like, I don't dislike the songs. I think there's just too many within the track list. The track list could be shorter and it would be better.
This always happens where I end up like, I'm trying to like defend the album and you've literally given it like...
I've given it higher than you.
0.6 more, no.
No, 0.8.
9.9. What did I give it? 9.1.
Yeah. So I've given it 0.8, yeah. So yeah, you don't worry, you don't need to defend it. I literally like it more than you.
8%.
Yeah. And when I'm saying, I'll bring in my favourite word, I'm bringing in my slight gripes. But I'm nitpicking just for the sake of the comparing as why it's not number one.
Yeah.
But the highs on this, Let It Happen, don't need to go into it. You did a great job.
Thank you.
This album also has one of my favourite Kevin songs of all time. New Person, Same Old Mistakes. So much nostalgia attached to it. You'll even share some of that nostalgia with me because of how many times we've sort of listened to that at parties and stuff. One of my favourite bass tones of all time. Like, this album has so many of my favourite moments from an artist just packed into one. I just think as an overall album experience, as much as it's his own identity, I don't think it is perfect just because there's maybe too many ideas that are really nice and sonically beautiful while they're on. They just could have been more or could have been left on the scrapbook, in the scrapbook on the kitchen island. On the.
Just carry on.
But still, it is amazing, nearly perfect. I listen to this all the time. So many bangers on there. The Moment, Eventually, underrated track. Yes, I'm Changing. The synths on that.
I thought you said Eventually is an underrated track.
Eventually underrated, bro. It's like one of his like fan favourites.
It's still underrated.
Okay, but Yes, I'm Changing is underrated.
Yeah.
Other songs like Past Life, I like the pitch down vocal sort of storyline that goes throughout. It's really unique in that way. The drums are absolutely booming on it. Booming. And like I've said, there's just so many highs. And it is synth heaven, which right up this guy's street.
Yeah.
For real though. But I'll let you get on to your number one. Why is Innerspeaker?
Innerspeaker, first of all, is a 9.3. So 0.2 better than Currents. Okay, that's why. But look, I just want you to. Should we just process like where that is in our rankings and stuff so far?
Is that the same level as OK Computer?
I think it is. Yeah. Which I back.
I don't think Innerspeaker is as good as OK Computer. I think OK Computer is perfect. I give it 10.
You didn't put them far off each other though. You gave Innerspeaker a 9.7.
Yeah, but as I've spoken about, spoken about its flaws.
Yeah.
Like in my review already today, but I also said that OK Computer doesn't have any.
Yeah. The first thing I'll say about this album. Don't do drugs. Just listen to this. Because it genuinely... I found myself when I was listening to it, I was trying to do it while doing some reading for uni. And like mid-sentence I was reading, I just find myself, I'd completely zoned out and just forgot what I was doing because I just... You know when your eyes unfocus because you like fully zone out?
Yeah.
I was just listening.
Can't listen to that while doing your uni work. You'll miss your deadlines.
One of the first things that I wanted to mention is this is absolutely the drumming highlight album for me.
That's fine.
It's got that kind of really 60s, 70s psychedelic sound where it's got a very, I don't really know how to describe it, but there's like a specific drum sound that's really that kind of thing. It's like got a lot of, it's really dry.
Yeah. I know what you get.
Whereas later on stuff's a bit, Kevin goes from dry to squelchy as time goes on.
Yeah.
This is really nice dry drumming, I think. I don't know if that's the best way to describe it, but I think you know what I mean.
I know what you mean.
But it's better because it's got modern technology, so it just sounds better in your ears, but with the same kind of tone. Desire Be Desire Go is probably the perfect example of the guitar work on this album.
Yeah.
The riffs are incredible and the tones are so crunchy and aggressive.
They are crunchy.
And they are also at the same time, I think one of the reasons that we kind of differ on synths and guitar is I find guitar much more what's the word? If I like dangled a stopwatch in front of your face.
Hypnotising?
Hypnotising. I find guitars much more hypnotising than
synths.
I find synths more...
Really?
No, I like...
guitars are like tough.
Listen! Yeah, I know, but that works for me. I see, like tough, like heavy synths where there's just like loads. For me, I find that doesn't work as well as guitars. I like synths in a relaxing sense. I like a synth that's a bit beautiful.
What about like synth arpeggios though, where they're like swirling synth beds? I feel like that's more like easy to lose yourself in. A guitar, like on Desire Be, Desire Go, it's more
See,
like...
that's just complete...
Fucking hell, that's all right,
Yeah,
innit?
but it makes my eyes go in the back of my head.
Yeah, you definitely can't be doing your uni work.
And then him, lyrical content on this album. I think it's my favourite songwriting on any of the albums as well. I love that his... Not necessarily in terms of, obviously, Lonerism's the conceptual one and whatever, but on this, I like that on, I think is it Alter Ego, where the instrumental kind of drops out and it's mostly the drums and lines like, the only one who's really judging you is yourself. Is that Alter Ego? Yeah. Like bits like that, he has he's really good at conducting the ups and downs of the songs as they go along. Also, incredible album for one of my favourite things, trademark, the noisy section. Lucidity is probably a highlight for this. Desire Be, Desire Go is also up there. Kevin's just great at that, and it's so early on, but even on later stuff, there is always... He's very good at having sections in songs.
Yeah.
And I think this is like some of the stats of it, and I think he does it so well on this.
Yeah.
Voice-wise, let me just paint a picture. You're in the studio, producing. Oh, well, he does it all himself, but let's just imagine that he doesn't. Descend from heaven. The holy ghosts of George Harrison and John Lennon combine to harmonise in the booth. That's what Kevin sounds like on this album. He still sounds like him generally anyway, but I think I think maybe because it's got that more psychedelic sound, the mix is more Beatlesy.
Yeah.
Whereas later, when he sounds more refined, the Beatles never like had that.
It's more polished.
They never had that crispness to them. They had a bit more great.
Yeah.
I've just got guitar turns it again. It has a great contrast between moments that have that great aggressive grit and just gentle and elegant softness, and that contrast of guitar tones works so well for me. Solitude is Bliss sounds like a mixture of something off Sgt. Pepper's mixed with Jimi Hendrix and like Kevin's own amazing seasoning on top of it. I do agree. It's definitely it's a modern equivalent of its 60s, 70s psychedelic contemporaries.
Don't get me wrong, this is why I agree with everything you're saying in terms of its quality and why I still have ranked it higher than you.
Yeah.
Because I think the quality is there, and it's the fact that it's a contemporary version is almost like it's not like redefine the sound, but it's sort of brought it back and done it absolute justice.
Yeah.
But I think because it is similar to some previous artists, I think, not that it lacks inspiration, but I just think it's not as standalone in this catalogue.
Yeah.
It's only 0.1 in it though, but I'm just sort of bouncing off what you were saying. That is why it's at the bottom of his catalogue for me, but everything you said, it is an absolute banger album.
Yeah.
So much replay value. All of his albums have replay value, but this one, I think, like...
Oh, this is actually easily the most replay, which is maybe I think that's part of the reason why I prefer it. Because I like replay value.
Yeah.
I love albums, but I love albums where the songs have replay value. I'm not much of a concept album guy.
Yeah.
I love them and appreciate a lot of them, but I listen to them much less. And
I also think you're much more of you like a similar tempo throughout a track list album.
Definitely.
This album's all bangers, but then when you go for a slower album, you kind of want it all slow.
I also are mostly the same, and sometimes when they have like one or two much more acoustic ones, like bands like The Jam were very good at that. They'd have loads of absolute rockers and a couple of just gentle acoustic ballads, which is absolutely up my street. One more thing to say. It feels like all we talk about here is how you're the synth guy and I'm the guitar guy. We both love synths and guitars.
Yeah.
It's just in this situation for some reason. It just seems that everything's decided by the fact that I prefer guitar. But synth moment on here.
Oh my God, he's talking about synths.
I don't really mind the synth bit at the end.
It's the middle. Everything, sure.
Yeah. I mean, no, but I don't really mind at the end.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I thought you meant of the end of the song.
Honestly. I can't remember which one I meant, but anyway. It's just drowning in it, but it's not too much. It's good things because it's in a small dose.
Yeah, small dose, I suppose.
But if it had that for that kind of thing for every song on the album, it would not be anywhere near as good.
But Lonerism that you slated for that reason doesn't. It's not just heavy synths for the whole album.
But it's much more synthy compared to this.
Yes, but like...
That's all I mean.
Okay. But you said like if it was like that for the whole album, but look, that's a bad representation of Lonerism as an album. Because it's not overbearing synths to the whole album.
No, but I'm saying this is the synth highlight of this album, whereas Lonerism doesn't have one big synth moment, it has multiple. Right. And I'd rather just have one or two.
I think the reason we have this sort of divide with you're the guitar guy and you're the synth guy is a lot of your arguments against albums being your favourites is because there's too much synth work.
Yeah, it was the same with... I think it's just a coincidence, though, because there's a lot of stuff where I like synths in it. It's just I much prefer a background ambient synth to a lead synth. I've said that before, which is why stuff like Welcome to the Machine isn't my favourite Pink Floyd song. But stuff
Don't
like...
bring that back up.
Just an album that I've listened to recently. The Wake album that I bought, I've completely forgotten what it's called. One moment. I'll flick through. Talk about something.
I think you are much more of a fan of like 80s synths as well.
This album, Here Comes Everybody by The Wake, there is some incredible synth work on it, but it's nice, lovely background ambient synth. It's not a lead, really. And if there is any moments, there's like some on the single.
Bro, you're doing a shit promo, are you?
On this single, Talk About the Past, there is kind of like in the chorus a bit of a lead synth, but that is my favourite kind of thing rather than like in a Kevin or a Welcome to the Machine where it's just a bit much for me.
How much are they paying you?
Huh?
How much are they paying you?
Nothing. I'll pay them.
Can we go back to Kevin?
I love that album. Yeah. Sorry. Just a little Easter egg for you there.
Did you have anything else to say about your number one album, or can I go to Lonerism?
Just to sum it up, I just think it's an absolute masterpiece, and the guitar work on it is one of my favourite albums of guitar work ever made.
Makes me somewhat happy. I don't think it's his best, though. Wait, you have his best as my worst. Okay. I still have it higher than you, though, so
that's crazy.
I'm not pissed.
That happens so often. You just love music more than me. Everything we do, you just give it higher.
I think it's just in terms of what we've ranked have been some of my favourites so far.
That's true. If we did an Echo and the Bunnymen, I'm sure it would be a different story.
Again, bring them up in every
yes, but I'm only bringing it up because that is the perfect example of where
it would be different.
With me, where I'd be dick riding.
Yes. We know.
I don't deny
Everyone knows. Everyone knows.
There's other ones too, though. Maybe well.
Yeah. Let's stick to Kevin.
Yeah.
Lonerism, for me, perfect album. I'll say it's a perfect album. I think, and not just because it's a concept album, but I will get onto that in a minute.
Yeah.
I think it is his best like sequenced album. I like the range on it. Mm-hmm. I think it's the full version of what Innerspeaker could have been. They're still different, and I like them for their own rights, and I like that they're both within his catalogue.
Yeah.
I like seeing both sides of the more guitar-heavy psychedelia compared to maybe the more modern-day MGMT style psychedelia with the more synth-based production. Songs like Apocalypse Dreams, right up my street, again, completely disagreeing with you, because it's got that more proggy structure as well, and that like vacuum is one of the most unique drops ever. I love it, and then it just explodes and you're in space. So transcendent.
Yeah.
There's so many. I think this is his most transportative album. There's so many transportative moments, like the end of Music to Walk Home By. You say Currents was the most transportative.
Oh yeah, I know that. I was just trying to think of whether I'd put it second or third. Would I put it over Innerspeaker for I think I would put it as second. I think I'd put Innerspeaker as third most transportive, just because obviously the concept and the flow of Lonerism kind of helps it with that.
Yeah, fair. I actually would just even argue just sonically. I think some of the tones of the synths and the guitars are like the echo, the delay. It's so hallucinatory. Like, I'm just like listening to it, and I've listened to it genuinely with my eyes closed, and you can just like see colours.
Yeah.
You know, you were saying don't do drugs, just listen to Innerspeaker.
Yeah.
Mirror that for Lonerism for me.
Okay, yeah. So that just shows how our brains work with music. That's the thing of.
But this is what I'm saying. I think that synths transport me, whereas guitars transport you, like what you were saying. But the bangers on here, like Elephant, absolute rocker.
Yeah.
You've got that diversity, but then you've got one of the most unique songs in his whole catalogue, the outro, Sun's Coming Up.
Yes, I really like that one.
Yeah, piano ballad. He's not in his falsetto at the start, which is really nice to see, and I love it. And then it's got a really psychedelic, experimental outro, which I just think is the perfect sort of disjointed and jarring end to the story, which will lead me on to the fact that I'd really resonate and like the concept of this one.
Yeah.
About how every song is an individual day in a learner's life dealing with social difficulties.
That resonates with you.
Don't try and make out like I'm some fucking learner.
Loser.
No, but it's about glorifying the time you need on your alone, which is something that I need to do. I like to be busy and stuff, but sometimes I maybe do need a bit of alone time to reflect on things. Fuck you. You're literally the same.
I'm worse.
So I like that because it's sort of like a nice reminder, because it's sort of looking at the difficulties that you can have maybe as an introvert or something, but then like also glorifying that alone time and how, well, maybe it is good to sort of just separate yourself from the wider world. And I think the pinnacle of where this concept is at its max is Keep On Lying, where you've got these distant laughs as if you're physically within a conversation, but mentally you're not there. And you dissociate in real time while listening to it, which is the emotion he was trying to convey on it. Definitely not like the song with the most replay value, but like that doesn't take away from the replay value of the entire album because it adds so much value to the concept. And that's the thing with albums that I really like, where there's that variety, and maybe if it's not a track I'd stick on in its own right, in the context of the album experience, it's not like a skip for me, because it's sort of like, well, this is maxing out what I'm getting from this album. And then just some of the most transportive moments in music that I've ever listened to, like the end of Mind Mischief. His falsetto there with like the phaser coming in and stuff. I just lose myself into it. I fall into it and I'm lost in the best way. And I'm just walking through colourful landscapes. I love it. I love this album. Yeah. And I think it's a really nice, unique, introspective on the lyrical, nice and introspective on the lyrical front.
I think it's one that would definitely grow with me over time. I've not listened to it loads.
This is the thing I'll say as well. I actually probably listened to this one the least throughout my entire life. But I think when I do listen to it, it has the most powerful impact on me. It's like a T-pab. Yeah. Exactly, yeah. That is exactly what it is. So I think maybe if I was going for bangers and I was going to put something on maybe around a crowd, I wouldn't be putting on some songs on here. Yeah. But in terms of my own personal listening... You would not
put on Apocalypse Dream at the function. I'll tell you that for free.
I would.
Yeah,
but not for you. No, not everyone would leave. Apocalypse Dreams isn't like a non-crowd pleaser.
For a
something
party.
Like Sun's Coming Up, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Obviously, there's better songs. You go for an Elephant, for example. Elephant's obviously the biggest banger on here.
You should do that tomorrow.
What?
Put an Elephant tomorrow night.
Oh yeah,
solid,
brilliant. I've put on a few Kevin songs. He's great at pies. His catalogue is absolutely stacked, which leads me on for my little surprise. Are you ready?
Completely forgot about this.
Yeah, well, good job, I'm here. I think that Kevin Tame Impala is my favourite artist of all time. Speechless.
I can't describe how weird that is to hear. Just for your information at home, Sam cannot physically decide. When we do preparation for these videos, I find it really easy to just go through the albums, give an honest review and do that. Sam genuinely feels actual pain within his body having to put certain albums over other ones. So the fact that you can with chest say that confidently you think that you prefer it to, well, another good one that I thought, Pink Floyd. I thought that would probably, if you had to come down to it, I thought Pink Floyd would probably be your favourite. But
favourite band, but I think favourite artist, and I actually would say I prefer Kevin to Pink Floyd.
Yeah.
So I am still putting him above Pink Floyd.
Damn, that's crazy.
For me, I think it's more like I really like him as a person as well.
That's important as well.
But if we go music alone, which is what I think we should be judging it on, it is taking a lot of time as well. But I think his catalogue is so consistent. As you can see, I've got them all on near on perfect and one perfect album in there. And in terms of albums I listen to the most, I listen to them all so much. So there's some of my favourite albums of all time. I actually think what's not to like in my own head? There's no areas that I can sort of bring him down.
When I think of your brain and what kind of things work with you, I think you like a poppy melody. You like experimentation, especially when it's electronic. You like we both, this is one of the main things, we love a good rhythm section.
Yeah.
And you like, especially when it's like got a really specific sound to it, like a unique bass tone.
Yeah.
Two person, same old mistakes. Put all that together with some incredible production, but also some influences from the past of stuff that you would also like. It could not be more your thing.
Yeah, so does it make sense?
Yeah, it does. That's still mental to hear though.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I also really like rich and full mixes. I like a lot going on. I like being stimulated while listening. And I think his music has a lot of like really full on and emphatic crescendos and just journeys. I just love a journey. And this album just really resonates with me. Like all the sonic textures and his voice. The way he uses his voice almost as like another instrument at times. I just love it.
Yeah.
I just said times as like 2 words then, by the way, because I like managed to like choke.
We've not fallen out at all, by the way. Not really. We've had a couple of blips, but we've not. Usually we end a video where I don't want to go to the kitchen and cook with you. I'm fine with standing next to you today.
Oh, that'll be good.
Yeah.
But I'm not as mad because I kind of knew your list. You didn't know my list, but I feel like it's maybe you had a positive.
I prefer your list to what I thought you were going to say.
Yeah, because if the Slow Rush was at number 1, we'd have completely opposite ends of the spectrum. But I think you.
The only thing
I think you
upset about
underrate Lonerism a little bit though.
Maybe so. Maybe it'll grow.
But I think it's personal.
I can't believe you put Innerspeaker last. That's the craziest thing for me.
9.7. Just think about that.
I know. That's what I'm comforting myself. If you still think it's better than I.
Let's keep it on a good note.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for watching.
Yeah.
Let us know your lists in the comments. Who had the better list, me or Max? I thought you were going to say it. I thought you were going to say it. Normally when I'm mid outro, you like to say, when I like put that little question to the audience, you like to go, Max. You've done that on a few videos.
I like to...
As in where I like ask them a question and then you like answer for me.
We struggle, don't we, sometimes? What he said. Subscribe. We never say that.
We need to do the normal like thing of subscribe, like.
Leave a comment below. Any requests, let us know. We'll get it done at some point within the foreseeable future. Like our videos, share. That's the most important thing at this stage. If you've got any friends or family members or people that you know, or even if you're just really into music and want to show a couple of other people that are into music, share our videos. Just keep supporting, keep watching. That's all you can do. That's all we ask you for. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed.
Stay tuned. We've got a lot coming.
Plenty.
See you later.
Are up to our necks in it.